Welcome to Tech Talk, y'all.
Hello, and welcome to Tech Talk, y'all. Episode 338. I'm Sanjay Parekh.
And I'm Adam Walker. We have a great episode for you today and lots of energy. So it's going to be fun for me, at least. I don't know about fun for everybody else. Energy. Yeah, it'll be fun for me. So
it'll be fun for me too. So there's two of us at least.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have a good time. So
everybody else on the podcast is going to get tortured, but we'll have fun.
All right, let's kick it off. Speaking of having a good time, it's time to be acquired for, is that 500 million? Is that pounds? Is that what that symbol is? Pounds?
How do you not know your currency symbol? That's euros. Come on, man.
Euros. Listen, man, I don't pay that much attention. Okay. Like I don't.
If it ain't dollars, it's nothing. It's funny money.
If it ain't dollars or Bitcoin. No, not even Bitcoin.
It's dinky dollars after that. Yeah. Whatever it is.
So Be Real got acquired for like, what was that end up being like $537 million, something like that?
Yeah. That's in regular US dollars.
Not dollars. Yeah. US dollars.
Not these weirdo dollars that you don't understand.
Congrats to them. I used to occasionally participate in Be Real, but have not in quite some time. It doesn't seem like it has much staying power to me, but way to exit. Why you can't get out while the getting's good, right? You know, like
go out on a high note. I've used Be Real exactly 0 times and never installed the app because I don't have time for that.
It's because you're not real. That's why.
I am
you're an NPC is what you are.
I am an NPC. I am a figment of everybody's imagination. Surprise, I'm an AI.
Yeah, actually doesn't surprise anybody at all, actually, based on your level of intelligence. So there you go. All right, let's
talk about something that's intelligent, at least for one group. Metallica is headlining Fortnite's next concert. So, I mean, you can do a concert without having to go anywhere. That's awesome, I guess, for them.
It's cool. It is interesting to me that Metallica being from like several generations back, you know, like going into a Fortnite concert, Fortnite being a predominantly much younger audience. Now, I will say, though, because Metallica is Metallica, I mean, they're so legendary. They do cross generations, I think, more than most bands do.
Yeah.
For example, like I got offered free tickets to a Metallica show a year or two ago, and my 15-year-old at the time wanted to go, and I'm like, let's go. And it was a great show. I mean, you're seeing the greatest band of that genre of all time. Like it's like it's a great show. But it'll be interesting to see. I will wonder how well attended it is compared to the other Fortnite concerts.
Right. So, wait, they've had other Fortnite concerts?
Yeah, I don't remember who else they've had, but yes, they've had several other Fortnite concerts where you just log in, you go check out the show inside of the world.
Okay, so you don't have to kill a bunch of people to be able to get entrance into the arena?
There's no fighting. You just go chill out.
There's no fighting.
You just go chill out. So we try it out. So
how is that different from just streaming it over Netflix?
I think maybe they're I don't have any idea. Actually, I don't know how it's. I don't know. We get to interact within the world, I guess, somehow, maybe. So All right.
Okay.
Next up, China introduces photonic chip capable of processing 100 billion pixels in just 6 nanoseconds. That strikes me as profoundly impressive. I don't really know even what to compare that to. Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I guess things are going to get faster in terms of processing stuff.
And we'll have better battery life because we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes too with another article. So that's great.
Yeah. So maybe this helps increase the speed or processing of fiber that we've already got laying out there. So that's kind of nice without having to upgrade the actual infrastructure. You can do some fancy stuff. And you could have read about this in a new app or a revamped app, Artifact's DNA. And we've talked about Artifact a lot. I love that app, that news app. DNA lives on in Yahoo's revamped AI news app, AI-powered news app. I loaded this up because I saw this article, and I'm sorry to report, it's garbage. It's not there. Artifact DNA is like, where is it? I don't see it.
I was going to ask you if the app was good. I was going to ask you if he was going to use it. And I was genuinely struggling because I find it hard to palate considering using anything related to Yahoo. And I was going to, if it was going to be good, I was going to try it. But now that you've said that,
well,
alas.
Now, look, I'm trying it again. And I'm loading it up. And actually, I think it has changed. I think the artifact stuff is actually now maybe in here. Maybe I didn't have the version that had it in there.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should consider this then.
I'm going to select a couple of things and see. No, don't give me notifications. Just give me my stuff. You know what? This looks very much like Artifact before. It's got the Yahoo-ish skin.
Yeah.
And here's the nice thing, actually. You can actually use this without logging in. So you don't have to log into a Yahoo account. Okay. You can just log in. So, yeah.
The concept of putting something Yahoo on any of my devices kind of makes my skin crawl a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I'll try it. Based on your recommendation.
More or less than putting something that has AOL on it.
Less even. I don't know. Yeah,
less skin crawl. Okay, so AOL would be worse. Okay.
Yeah, AOL just died. Yahoo just, man, I don't know. Just so many missteps.
That's the new verb we just made up. That's already a verb. They zombied. Yeah,
they zombied.
All right, hey, look at that guy working at that company. Oh, that company zombied.
It's zombied. Speaking of
something that's zombied
things. No,
not yet.
LinkedIn's AI job coach can write your cover letter and edit your resume. I think the subtext is so you can apply to more jobs that will still not call you back. Like I think that's the subtext there, right?
So that the AI that the companies have will reject you handily.
Yeah.
Actually, this is what I want. I want an AI to write the cover letter, do the resume, apply for the job. Interview for the job and do the job, and then I can just collect the check.
Yeah.
Can we do that one?
We're headed towards that. I think that's the ultimate goal of all the things. I don't really.
Is that what's going to happen? Like everybody, basically your job becomes figuring out how to write the best AI.
There's already jobs where that would be the case. There are currently jobs right now that are occupied by people that just use AI better than the rest of them. Like that's already a thing. So, but I think, the job hunt online is just, it's a show. I'm just going to call it a show. It's a show. Yeah. It's a show with an S in the front. It's a show. That's what it is. So,
what's going to be funny about all this is when a EMP gets detonated and wipes out all the AIs, and all the people who have made their entire careers about just AI are just like, wait, what do I do now?
When that happens, what happens to people like you that are NPCs? That's really what I need to know. Like,
we're going to be the ones that launch the EMP, so we're going to save ourselves elsewhere.
Okay, you've got shielding. You've got shielding. I got you.
We got shielding because we know what's coming. So it's all good. It's all good. And we're going to power ourselves with some really high density batteries because TDK claims an insane energy density in solid state battery breakthrough. They were able to achieve 100x increase in storage potential. And so they're now very quickly speeding towards production of solid state batteries, very tiny batteries at first. But if you can imagine, and one of their partners, one of their clients is Apple. If you can imagine solid state batteries going into watches and things like that, then now instead of having, like, you've got an Apple Watch, right?
I do. Yeah.
I've got a Samsung watch. I've got to charge it probably every other day-ish. What about
I got to charge mine every day. Every day. Oh yeah. Every day.
Like imagine, like there were some watches back in the day, just when these things started coming out.
The Pebble watch.
The Pebble, that's what I was thinking.
For like 6 days, man. It was great.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought it was a week.
Watch.
Yeah. So go for a week or go for 2 weeks. Like that would be fantastic. You could go on trips and not be like, okay, I don't need to take that charger. I'll just charge up the watch before I go and I'm good the whole time. So
that's it.
I think this is good. And as they get better with this, they scale up to do bigger things, electric vehicles, home batteries, all these kinds of things. And the great thing is solid state batteries, you don't have runaway thermal reactions. So they don't explode. They don't catch on fire. All of those kinds of things. So I think we've said this on this podcast. Anybody that's thinking about buying an electric vehicle should really, really consider not straight out buying them and maybe leasing them instead.
For a bit,
making that battery issue somebody else's problem and not yours, because I think in the next few years, the battery technology is going to go nuts insane.
Yeah. So speaking of things running away and exploding, Waymo issues software and mapping recall after robotaxi crashes into telephone pole. And as a part of this recall, there was something to the effect about they had labeled a telephone pole as a less what was the term? I forget. It was like
I forgot what it was.
Less damaging event or something like that. And I'm like, so the taxi made the determination to go ahead and crash into the telephone pole. And obviously, like I feel like that's a bad idea. I feel like telephone poles are very, very damaging.
I mean, it's better to crash into the telephone pole than into a person. I would say that.
For sure. Yes.
So,
yes.
Telephone, easy to replace. Human being, not so much.
Not so much.
There's a related story in terms of cars gone wild here. Tesla in self-drive mode slams into police car in Orange County. So an idiot is driving the Tesla, playing on his phone. He admitted to playing on his phone. The car crashes into a parked police car. Fortunately, the officer was not there.
He jumped out of the way, I thought. Did he say jumped out of the way? Yeah.
He was directing traffic, but jumped out of the way. He was directing traffic because he was already there for
another crash.
A car crash that caused the death of a motorcyclist. And that was caused by a DUI. But, it made me start thinking these two things that are kind of connected events there, right? The DUI that was there that killed a motorcyclist, this self-driving car that almost injured, potentially even killed this police officer.
Right.
That as regular humans, those of us that don't do any of this dumb stuff, we now have to worry about not just drunk drivers on the road, but people using vehicles in an unsafe manner. And I think this is already true. I mean, you've seen it, I've seen it. Idiots on the road playing on their phones while they're driving. I've seen people, I will kid you not. There was a road trip once. We were going up to DC and we were on a stretch of 95 that is straight and very boring. I saw a dude full on reading a full-size newspaper as he was driving.
Oh, I got another one on you. So a friend of mine was just on a road trip last week, pulls up next to a Tesla, looks over, doesn't see anybody in the driver's seat. That's because the driver is laying down and sleeping in the driver's seat. Like that's what happened. The driver was actively asleep while the Tesla was driving. Like that's some craziness. That's ridiculous. That's some serious crazy. I mean, so it's just unconscionable, these kinds of activities. It's wild,
because look, if you were only putting yourself at risk, go at it, whatever. I don't care. Right. Like, crash your car, go into a fireball. I mean, I do care. I hope that doesn't happen to you. But look, if you're going to be that risky, and risk your life, fine. But you're jeopardizing the lives and safety of others at this point.
That's right.
That's not okay.
Don't do that.
I mean, people like this, like seriously, like this guy should not only just lose his license, lose his ability to ever buy a car, maybe should even spend some jail time because
he should be required to use Waymo. That's what it should be. Like you can only use Waymo from now on, but the updated Waymo that doesn't crash into telephone poles. That's the only one you can use. That's it. That's the only,
I thought you were going to send him to the one that would, constantly crash into telephone poles.
Yeah, that's the only one. So, all right. Next up, Elon Musk threatens to ban iPhones and Macs at his companies. He basically saying, look, if Apple's going to integrate AI deeply into its operating system, it's no longer safe to have around our trusted secrets or whatever. And he was saying he'd require employees to put their things into Faraday cages when they enter the building. He's kind of backed off this a little bit, I think. But one thing that was interesting in this article, it talked about, he made the point that Apple doesn't really know what's going to happen to people's data once it's handed over to OpenAI, which is kind of an interesting point. The other thing that I did not realize somehow is that he was a co-founder of OpenAI back in 2015.
Yeah.
And is suing
when it was a nonprofit.
Yeah, well, I think it still is technically a nonprofit, actually. But he's suing them for going against their sort of structured mandate. I did not realize any of that somehow.
Yeah, but this is a little pot calling the kettle black, right? Because he's got his own AI, XAI.
He does.
And doing all that. So I think this is more than anything like a PR move on top of everything else.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
so many things that he does. It's like, well, we don't trust those crazy AIs, but the Grok AI, the Grok AI that we're putting out, it is very safe. You should totally use that.
It's so much better.
I mean, would you not trust me? And like, no, we would not trust you.
Who wouldn't trust him? Wait, no, I don't trust him ever at all. Not in any way.
I trust them less than a Waymo crashing into telephone poles.
Yeah, I would take a Waymo in a heartbeat. I'm all for some Waymo.
Oh, well, would you sit in a Waymo that crashes into telephone poles or Elon Musk driving?
Gonna go Waymo. Gonna go.
Yep.
Yeah, because if he's
Waymo.
driving, I might have to. Actually, never mind. I'm not going to say that. Anyway, moving on. I think. Are you up? I think you're up.
Maybe I'm up. I don't know. Last one before Weird and Wacky. EU directive to see no caps get left behind on drink containers from next month. So I found this article interesting because we were just recently in Italy.
Yep.
And we came across a bunch of these bottles, and they're so fascinating that we don't have them here in the US. So what it is you unscrew the cap, and there's a little flap of plastic basically that keeps the cap attached to the bottle.
Right.
Now here's why it's great. I think from a user standpoint, it's a little annoying because you got to kind of orient it so that you're not, hitting your nose with the cap and you're able to drink properly.
Your face a little bit. And
But how many times have you dropped your cap to your bottle in like dirt or on the ground and you're like, ew, that's gross. You've done that before, right?
I don't.
You've never done that.
I don't think I ever have actually. No, seriously. Like I'm not even trying to be funny.
Okay.
Like I don't recall having ever had
I think
that experience.
Of the two of us, you are the AI, you are the NPC because that is not possible.
I think you just got butterfingers. You're like, let me take off the cap. Oh, there's the cap. It fell off.
I tell you, every single listener that's listening to this podcast has probably been like, "Yep, I've done that before."
I don't think so.
What a weirdo that you have not ever done that before.
Listen, if you're watching this video, someone comment and let us know if you've done this or not. I would like to know. I think
you are just a weirdo. That is not normal behavior to have never dropped one of those tiny little caps.
I do, on the one hand, think that this is great for the environment because it did say that bottle caps are somehow like 15% of waste, which strikes me as really strange.
Well, it's because they're so small and then they can't recycle them because they're so small and they're not like connected to something bigger.
So there's that. But on the other hand, the user experience side, like it kind of like scratching your face as you're trying to drink, like that seems like that's going to be very annoying.
Not that bad. It's not that bad. Really, no, it's not that bad. And I really like it. It's got like a little flappy thing, and it just kind of clicks in when you flip it over and flips back. I think it's actually really ingenious.
It's called the flappy thing. I like that.
A little flappy thing. Yeah.
Okay. I like
and the tech behind it. Like all these drink makers were like, oh, this is going to be impossible to do. It's impossible to do. And then the next thing you know, somebody's like, oh, here's how you do it. Here's the new machines to do it. Here's all the things.
Yeah.
Hopefully maybe one day, decades from now, we will follow their lead and maybe have the same thing here in the US. I feel like we never get the same things here in the US.
We'll see.
Time for the Weird and Wacky segment.
Abominable Snowman. He's not an axe murderer. One of the TAs turned out to be a bot.
All right, for Weird and Wacky, we just have one article for you. And if you're traveling to China soon, it may be good for you to know. How long have you been in there? A popular tourist destination in China has installed toilet timers. Reactions are mixed. So first of all, this is not a countdown timer. It's a count up timer. And so when you walk into the bathroom, you'll see either a sign that says unoccupied over the toilet, like in a digital sign, or it'll have a timer that's counting up. Now, the idea is that if they're all occupied, you go stand in front of the one that has the highest timer because that's the person that's the most likely to finish up the soonest. So if there's a timer that's 3 seconds in, maybe don't stand in front of that door. If there's a timer that's like 4 minutes in, maybe they're wrapping up. That's the concept of it. And this is to help things sort of move along a little more smoothly inside of the sort of bathroom, getting people in and out. But some people said they felt like they're kind of being rushed, like they're being like sort of watched or observed. I think it's a fascinating experiment at the very least,
Okay. Here's what I don't understand.
Okay.
Here in bathrooms, when like you go to the stadium or there's a lot of people in line for the bathroom.
Yeah.
common like social etiquette here, at least in the US, is to just create a line. Yeah. And the person at the front of the line goes to whichever opening is first.
That's right. Yes.
You don't queue up at the door.
But that's not but China, have you been to China?
I've not been to China.
Okay. So like if you're in London and you're waiting to get on the tube, there's a very clear line in front of each door. You just go wait in that line. In China, there is no line for anything. You just literally shove your way toward the door and hope you can get on. Like that's true for all the trains. Like it is a wild free. The only place in China I think there's really a genuine queue is like in an airport. Like they kind of force it there. Otherwise, it's a full on free for all. And like people are like walking from the back around the whole crowd, squeezing their way. It is wild.
I mean, I guess this is what happens when you have 1 billion plus people and they're all wanting the same thing at the same time.
That's just like London has this super etiquette, follow the rules kind of culture. America has it a little bit related to lines and stuff, but like China they just don't have that kind of, like, it was so bad. Like, but I was in China for like 10 days. And then when I got back, in the American airport, I had to remind myself to not walk around the line and just push it. I was like, these people will beat me up. Like I had to physically remind myself not to do it. Like
they might not beat you up, but they'll look at you like,
yeah. So why
is he doing that?
Yeah, it's just different. So I mean, no good, no bad. It's just different. It is what it is.
Tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
Tech wreck. Chicky.
Tech wreck.
All right, Sanjay, it's Tech Wreck time. What do you have for us this week?
Okay, so I've had this problem as of late, and I was looking for something to solve it. I have multiple calendars for different things. So I've got a calendar for you and me with Edgewise. I've got other projects. I get personal. Now I've got a calendar for a work thing. And so it's really hard to coordinate between these calendars. And I've been trying to find ways to make sure they're all synced up so that one will show all the free busy times or whatever. And there was no really good solutions. You can use Zapier to do some of this, and I've done that in the past. But I stumbled upon a calendar called Rise. RiseCalendar.com is the website. Okay. And the free version of it will let you add in calendars and then select calendars to then mark time busy in other calendars. And it's kind of a unified interface in the calendar. And I actually kind of like the interface as well. There's a desktop app for Mac, PC, and Linux. Okay. There's also iOS and Android apps that are coming out. I think they're still a little rough, but they're getting there for sure. Yeah. But there's also to-do, task manager type of thing in there with an email address that you can email yourself tasks to do, which I think is kind of nice. And then it's got the Kanban kind of boards of tasks that you've got in progress and be able to move things around as well. So it seems to be really, really well done. You can also use this as a web calendar. So if you just want to use it in your browser, you can. You don't have to install the app. Okay. But synchronizing events across my calendars has been a godsend. It's really helping me know that nobody's going to try to book time on my calendar when I'm already busy during those times because something else is booked on another one of my calendars. So,
I can see this. Because like the work, like somebody at your work might look at your work calendar and be like, oh, he's free at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. And when in fact, you and I are recording Tech Talk Y'all at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, it's just on a different calendar. And so this blocks that off on the work calendar
automatically.
Interesting.
Because before what I was doing was I would, sometimes copy and paste events across calendars. That's for the
annoying.
birds.
You don't want to do that.
That's for the birds.
Ridiculous.
Like this is grunt work that computers are really, really good at.
That's right.
So
that's right.
There you go. Here is an app. Try it out. Rise Calendar. If you're looking for a new calendar app for at least the next 2-3 months before it gets bought and shut down, you can use it, and then you can hang out with me and lament the fact that, there was this Rise calendar once that solved all the problems, and now it's gone. So.
Well, I mean, it reminds me of I think it was one of my tech wrecks on this show years ago. It was like the Sunrise calendar, and it was like it was a beautiful. It was the most well done calendar I've ever seen. Of course, it got bought by I think
Microsoft.
Google.
I think.
Oh, was it Google? It was one of them. No, it was Microsoft. Yeah. And of course they shut it down and quote integrated it into Outlook, and it's garbage.
Garbage.
It was
so what do you have for us this week that might get bought and shut down and integrated into something else?
Speaking of Microsoft, I'm actually going to recommend, if you have not messed with AI, Copilot is actually a pretty easy sort of entry point to start messing around with AI. I think you can download the app. I don't even think you have to have a login set up if you don't want to. And it integrates with ChatGPT, and it'll actually do a pretty good job of like doing internet searches for you as well, in a way that might be in some ways a little better than ChatGPT. And so it's pretty interesting. It's also got like a cooking sort of version built in. So you can like say like, oh, hey, I've got these 5 ingredients. What can I cook with it? So that's kind of like that's sort of already built into the app. And then there's also like a travel itinerary or travel suggestions part of the app as well. So it's pretty interesting. It's reasonably well done. And like I said, if you haven't kind of gotten into like ChatGPT or OpenAI and that stuff, like it's an easy entry point to sort of check it out and see what's going on.
Are you using it on the desktop more or on the mobile?
I downloaded it on my phone just to kind of mess around with it. Mostly because my kids were like, it's actually pretty great. And I was like, really? Because it's made by Microsoft. How are you sure about that? And they were like, shockingly, yes, even though it's made by Microsoft, it's pretty good. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll check it out. So that's kind of how that conversation went down.
Interesting.
So, all right. So Sanjay, how can our listeners find and connect with you?
They can find me at sanjayparikh.com. What about you, Adam?
They can find me at adamjwalker.com. It's got links to all the things. Go there and sign up for my newsletter.
By the way, you should, if you don't know how to spell any of these things that we tell you about our websites, you should read the show notes. There's clicky links in all there, and for all the news articles we talk about. I think we don't ever say that, but you know, the show notes have all the details.
And use the clicky links.
Clicky links.